All right, so in this demo, we're going to run through how to use the newsletter drag and drop composer to create a two-column layout using the OHT columns block. It'll give us this two-sided layout with content beneath, single column below, and whatever else we might want below. Okay, so when you go to newsletters and you create a new newsletter, we'll just want to choose the drag and drop composer as our theme. And I'm basically going to create that newsletter from scratch. So I'm not going to choose any options here. Okay, so we've got a blank template here. Let's start off by adding heading, and with each of these blocks as it appears, you can make the settings. This bold, we give it a color, and then you hit apply to save those settings. All right, now we can add just a little bit of a graphic separator here. Give us a horizontal line. Get that a little thicker, and we'll give that the same color as the text. Okay, now for the columns method. Okay, so how the columns block works is, let's first off drag the columns block in, and it's going to give us in the settings here a little description about how it works. So basically, here's the layout. You put the columns block first, the sidebar second, and then the main content third. So once we click this block, it'll pull any two blocks below it and put those into a layout. At this point, we don't actually have that, so let's just hit apply. This is the columns block right here. The OHT columns block was initially built to enable you to put a column of print ads along the right-hand side, along with your main content. And while that is definitely a primary use case, you can also put other block types in the OHT columns block. So let's actually test this with an image. So remember, the first block we add is the one that's going to go into the sidebar. So let's just add an image for our sidebar. Click on this guy here and open up the media library. And I just have a placeholder here that I made earlier. Let's just select that and we'll hit apply. We're not going to worry about the sizing or anything. These will resize as the layout changes. Okay, and then below this image, let's just drag in a single post. So this will be a featured post on the left and a sidebar image on the right. So let's select our options. Let's grab this one here. And we're only going to want the excerpt, and we'll definitely want the image. Okay, all right, so here's the preview. So we've got the sidebar image that's going to go into the right-hand sidebar, and then this single post will go into the main content. So this is how we make this happen. We've got the two blocks below, and then here's the columns block. We'll click on the edit button again. Okay. And now when we click the make columns block, the layout will update. Okay. We'll go ahead and hit apply. Now what you'll notice is on the left is our single post. On the right is our sidebar image. And now there is nothing above it except the separator. So one thing to note here, besides simply the order, the first block will go to the sidebar, second block goes into main content. Once you click the make columns button, the OHT columns block has now done its job and it disappears. So now we are just left with these two blocks in the column layout. One thing you cannot do in this case is simply just drag another block into the columns. So if you drag it below, and now you can see how that broke the layout. The post has been placed under this, sidebar is still living on the right, and now that single post has been pushed down to the bottom. So let's remove that. And as you see, then it pops back in. So these two blocks are the only ones that are going to function correctly in the layout. However, we do have one more trick. If you do just want to use the same type of block, you can duplicate it and it will maintain the layout. So in this case, let's say we just had another sidebar ad. You can clone the block, come back into the second block, and now we can just simply update the image and hit apply. So you can have multiple images in the sidebar as long as they're the same type of block. So we can, since this is an image, we can clone it, create another image. We can't drag anything into the layout, but you can clone items that are already in the layout and they'll keep the same properties. So in this case, we can even clone this single post, edit the second one, and come and choose a second featured article. And this will have the same settings. Of course, it'll just update. And this is kind of how we create that initial layout. So if we want to add new content, once again, we have to be very careful, because if you drag anything into the column layout, it will break it. So you want to be very careful. Let's just add another separator and watch where it wants to put it. So you want to drag it so that it's going to put it below and all the way across, just like that. And now we have a nice clean break. We'll hit apply on that. Now, if we wanted to do another column layout, we could drag this to the bottom, go ahead and hit apply. And once again, can drag an image below, and let's select one of these farmhouse images here. Okay, and then let's see, let's just go to blog posts. So we'll do one with, instead of doing a single featured post, we'll do several blog posts in this one. And we'll just select a couple of categories here, make sure it shows the images. There we go. So now we've got a series of posts. We'll hit apply. Now, once again, we're going to come to the OHT columns block. It's directly above the image we just added. Now, once we click make columns, we are now have the separator, our image on the right, and our blog posts on the left.